Happy Monday, my dear grade 8. I hope you wake up great, and I know most of you will not watch this on time. But those who will watch and finish this, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy our lesson for today. I made this pre recorded so that later on we will start and have enough time to finish your PA 2 1 Part 1, which is the art appreciation compilation about the manga analysis. So, our topic for this week is all about the arts of Korea. And we all know that Korea is an East Asian country, and most people love this country because of the K pop idols, K drama, Korean foods, their language, as well as their culture. I know that most of you are fan of the K pop idols, especially the no, I will not mention boy band group, but I know na karamihan sa inyo ay K-pop idols, and I hope you enjoy today's discussion. So, as we all know that Korea is a peninsula northeast of the Asian continent, and to its north nandun yung China. And across to the sea to its east, dun matatagpuan naman sa may bandang west is yung Japan. And we all know that North and South Korea have been divided for more than 70 years. And ever since the Korean peninsula became an unexpected casualty of the escalating Cold War between the two rival superpowers, we have the Soviet Union and the United States. And these two countries have a different culture and tradition. And also some of their arts is somehow nagkakaiba, pero at the same time, meron pa rin silang similarities. So we have the North Korea and we also have the South Korea. So another facts about Korea is that they have three kingdoms, and Buddhism was initially brought from China during the Three Kingdoms period in the Kuguri Kingdom. The Silla and Pekche kingdoms had also converted to the new religion by the 6th century. And from that time until the 15th century, Buddhists became one of the significant themes in Korean art. So later on mapapansin nyo dun sa kanilang mga arts and crafts, sculptures is mostly yung kanilang theme is Buddhism. And Korean art includes the painting, calligraphy, ceramic sculptures, lacquerware, and other visual arts created by the Korean people throughout history. And Korean arts or Korea's art has historically shared aesthetic ideas, motifs, methods, and forms with China and Japan's art. But it has also evolved its own unique style throughout the period. So kung mapapansin nyo, di ba, ang Japan, China, and Korea is magkaka-neighbor or magkakapit-bahay lamang sila. So kung mapapansin ninyo, yung kanilang cultures, yung kanilang tradition, yung kanilang arts and crafts is mostly the same. But syempre, meron pa rin they have their own styles. They created their own styles or their own unique style throughout the period. And for today, the arts of Korea that we will discuss is the Korean knots, clay dolls, paper making, inlaid item, and chesang or yung chesang. I don't know if tama ba yung pronunciation ko. Pero yung chesang, this is a bamboo craft. And lastly, we will tackle about the folk painting when it comes to arts and crafts of Korea. And then after the arts of craft, we will tackle their Korean architecture and the Korean sculpture. But first, bago tayo dumako dun sa arts and crafts, let's discuss first their attire or the Korean attire. So we all know na yung mga visitors ay na-amaze sa Korea's traditional folk attire, and the Korean traditional portfolio has left many people in admiration of its spectacular display of color, of art, at the same time yung elegance na nabibigay ng kanilang traditional attire. So, their traditional attire or the Korean attire is tinatawag na hanbok. So, the term hanbok refers to the whole traditional clothing of South Korea, which includes the tops, the undergarments, overcoats, headwear, shoes, and even the hairpins. So, yung hanbok, yun yung tawag sa sa South Korea. And sa North Korea naman, tinatawag nila yung kanilang traditional attire as chosanot. Chosanot. So, yun yung kanilang traditional attire. I don't know if tama ba yung pagka-pronounce ko. If Chosanot or Chosanot. So, yun yung tawag sa traditional attire ng North Korea. So, traditionally, the colors of the handbook symbolize the following. So, sinasabi nila na pag yung white handbook, it symbolize metal. So, red, nandyan yung fire. Blue, symbolizes wood. Black symbolizes water. Yellow symbolizes earth. So each color or every color, meron silang sinisignifies or meron silang meaning. So yung bright colors naman were reserved for children's. So yung white, pwede rin siya or naka-reserve siya for married women. And yung reds and yellows, sinisignify naman ito pag single ka of if you are a single lady. Alam nyo ba na even colors also could suggest class? So yung white and grays were reserved naman for commoners, while the more vibrant colors were worn by the upper classes. And men usually wear baggy pants with long jackets, katulad nung sinusuot dito ni Ajushi. Wait, let me laser point. Katulad ng sinusuot dito ni Ajushi. So, he is wearing a baggy pants with a long jackets or yung tinatawag nating jockey. Jockey in Korean. Jockey in Korean, it means vest. So, unsurprisingly, handbooks have undergone significant modification. And during this time, the traditional Korean attire worn at this time, sinasabi na hindi na daw siya katulad nung hanbok noon. Na yung traditional hanbok nila, hindi na siya katulad nung hanbok na nakikita at sinusuot today or in our modern times because the handbook was influenced by various cultures over the years as well as different fashion trends. So today in both South Korea and North Korea, the handbook is worn on special occasions na lang and when they celebrate occasions, especially yung mga special occasions like weddings. So, ganito yung handbook pag masuot-suot ng mga children. At kung mapapansin nyo nga na yung mga bright colors is naka-reserve siya for children. Ngayon, dumako naman tayo sa fabric and tapestry of Korea. So, just like their attire, Korean fabric also have a long history that includes producing native fabrics and also Korean-made jacquard, brocade, and sateen. So, yung tinatawag na Korean quilt or mas kilala bilang bojaji is a wrapping cloth. So, bojaji, it is a wrapping cloth. It perhaps the most unique form of Korean textile art and it also strikingly contemporary. And yung mga designs and colors ng bojaji, it reminds one of the works of some modern abstract artists. Kasi kung makikita nyo, is para siyang pinagtagpi-tagpi. Like this one. Ito yung na iba't ibang color. Yung pattern niya, para siyang pinagtagpi-tagpi. And indeed, the bojaji can be described as a true form of abstract expressionism because bojaji are Korean textile which piece together from small scraps of cloth just like this one. So teacher, para saan po ba yung bojaji? So wait, let me show you lang this picture. So this one, this is how they wrap or use bojaji. Ganito nila, this is the way on how they wrap, like for example, their lunchbox, their gifts, the lockerware, and everything. So, ganyan yung isang process ng pagtatali or pag-wrap ng mga things using bojaji. And bojaji has many uses, including gift wrappers, food coverings, and knapsacks. When we say knapsacks, it is a bag with shoulder straps carried on the back and typically made of canvas or other weatherproof material. Oh, meron tayong cute ng ating emoji, diba? So now let's proceed to the arts and crafts of Korea. Like what I've said a while ago, the arts and crafts of Korea that we will discuss for today are the Korean knots, clay dolls, paper making, inlaid item, chesang, and folk painting. First, let's tackle Korean knots. So, Korean knots, it is a traditional Korean handicraft which dates back to the Three Kingdom. So, naalala nyo ba yung Three Kingdom na I showed you sa ating PowerPoint presentation? Yung pinakalas is the Silla Kingdom. So, this Korean knots, this is a traditional Korean handicraft which dates back to the Three Kingdom periods that is closely related with Chinese knots. So, Korean knotting, ito yung traditional craft in Korea. And it is differs from the Chinese knots. Although, may pagkaparehas sila, pero it differs from the Chinese knot. Dahil, nagkakaiba sila when it comes dun sa method ng pagbe-braid or in the method of braiding. The knots were once used for hunting, but late use ginagamit na siya for today as decorative purposes. Pero ngayon yung talagang purpose nitong Korean nuts is for hunting. So ganyan pa yung mga for today's video. For today's video, so ganito yung mga Korean nuts today. So ginagamit na sila as decorative purposes. So this one kung makikita nyo, bracelet, necklace, ayan, necklace, bookmarks, at marami pang iba. So, yan na ngayon yung mga gamit ng Korean nuts. But remember na before, ang gamit ng mga nuts na to is for hunting. They use it for hunting. Now, let's proceed to clay dolls. So, clay dolls are treasure made during Silla Dynasty or yung Silla Kingdom. And these boldly made clay human and animal figurines are stunning symbols of the intricate beliefs of ancient Koreans. So, may kinalaman itong paggawa nila ng mga clay dolls sa kanilang mga beliefs. So, this one, itong nakikita ninyo na picture sa inyong screen, so this is a horse and rider-shaped clay teapot found at the Gyeomryongcheong tomb from the Silla Kingdom during 6th century. And yung mga Silla clay dolls, so ito yung mga tinatawag na Silla clay dolls. And Silla clay dolls, ito yung mga cultural heritage ng Korea. So tinatawag ito na tu. I don't know if it is pronounced tu or to, but ang spelling niya is T-O-U. So tu refers to figurines or dolls made out of clay. So like what I've said, it is a practice of the Silla people or yung mga people during Silla dynasty. So this is their practice and their burial custom. So the Silla people, they made these figurines out of clay na tinatawag na tu. So yung the word tu, it literally means doll made out of clay. Two were made not only of human figurines but also of various type of animals. So, everything, ginagawan rin ng mga clay dolls yung mga animals and yung mga everyday items na makikita sa homes or sa mga bahay. And these types of figurines are common in both Western and Eastern cultures. And meron silang similar goals and function. They're used for shamanic or incantation purposes or as grave items was particularly important in the East. So, if I am not mistaken, sinasabi nung nabasa ko sa isang article na nakita itong mga cradles na to at kasi parang before sinasama itong mga cradles na to sa pag halimbawa namatay yung isang tao tapos pag nilibing siya, sinasama yung mga cradles na 'to. Then isa ito sa mga nahukay before this one. So 'yan. But now since the modern development came, we have a lot of variety when it comes to clay. And meron na rin mga vibrant colors na clay. So in this side, this one, and this side, this is the process on how to make a clay doll. So, nag-start siya sa head, tapos lagyan ng hair, and then nag-proceed sa eyes, and then nag-proceed sa clothes hanggang pinagsama-sama na niya hanggang makabuo siya ng clay doll, such as this one. And the third one that we will discuss is the paper making. So this is another traditional art form of Korea. So this is strong, beautiful paper handmade from the mulberry. So, yan yung paggawa ng mulberry. So, yan. So, this is from beautiful paper handmade from the mulberry tree. So, it is a precious cultural heritage that is invaluable today. Medyo hindi na siya ganun ka-valuable today, but isa ito sa mga cultural heritage ng Korea. So, traditional Korean paper or yung tinatawag na hanji is ito yung paper making na ginagawa during ancient Korean art or during ancient period or ancient Korea. So, ang ginagamitan ito ng inner bark ng paper mulberry tree. So, ganito siya. Yan. Ginagamitan siya ng inner bark ng paper or inner bark of the paper mulberry tree. And yung hanji, it is a form of traditional Korean paper that uses the bark of the mulberry tree as its base ingredient. Then after, paper was first imported from China, sabi nila, but ancient Koreans developed their own unique method of making hanji, which has a strong and durable fibers that are also very soft to the touch. When you touch it, it's very soft. And two important historic Korean documents is dito nakaprint sa hanji. And let's discuss yung process kung paano ba ginagawa itong hanji or how this hanji, ano yung process niya, paano siya ginagawa. So the process of making hanji can be roughly divided into 3 steps. So una, ipiprepare mo yung mga materials needed. And then number 2, you will do the sifting. You will do sifting. Isisift mo yung mga materials in a paper frame. And lastly is gagawin mo na yung completion. So yung first step na gagawin mo dito, it involves cutting. Ika-cut mo yung mulberry tree into pieces. Ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. Wait, let me show you. This one. So, ganyan. Ika-cut mo daw siya into pieces. Then, itatie mo siya. You will do the tying or you will tie the pieces into bundles and then you will place them on an iron pot. Ganyan. Ito. This one. So you will place it or you will place them on an iron pot lid that has had water poured over it. Then yung mga pieces, so the pieces are then surrounded with straw sacks. A fire is lit, then sisindihan na. Sisindahan na yung apoy and stoke until the bark begins to peel. So the bark is then peeled off the wood by hand and dried. So, eto na yung process kanina. Ganyan, ipipild na siya and then papatuyuin. Tapos, the dried bark is sasubmerge siya ulit sa water and ipipress hanggang mawala or ma-squeeze out yung water. Then, pag yung white fiber na lang yung natira, i-add na yung tinatawag nila na lye or LYE na binoil for at least 3 hours. After washing the remaining fibers, the mixture is spread out. Ganito na siya. I-spread na siya sa isang flat stone, and it will crush, or uh, the mixture will be spread out with a flat stone and crushed with a pestle. And then the fibers that have been separated out in this manner are added to sticky water obtained from mashing the root of the mulberry tree. After watching or after which everything is mixed together thoroughly, the resulting mixture is sifted. So nandun na tayo sa process number 2. We will do the sifting. So the resulting mixture is sifted onto a single leg, frame, and dried. And then after process number 3, you will do the finishing process called dot chim. And then the hanji is finally complete. 'Di ba? Ang haba, kahaba, no? It's a long process before you have a hanji. Kaya nga itong paper making na to, or itong hanji na to, is one of the cultural heritage ng Korea. Now let's proceed to cheseng, or yung tinatawag na bamboo craft. So, the spelling in your book is nakalagay dyan yung Chaisang, pero parehas lang po yan. So, this is a traditional art of weaving colored bamboo strip into basket and boxes. And the craftsman start by using his teeth to peel. According to my research, ginagamit daw yung epin or the teeth to peel lengthy strip of a bamboo plant. Then, the strips are lengthened and ilayered sila thinly, and then colored sila or kokoloran sila using natural pigments. And after being soaked in water, the ends are clipped after the strip have been into a variety of pattern, each with a symbolic meaning. So, sinasabi na each box has a silk or satin outside. So, ganyan siya. Yun yung mga design. Then, this one is the plain one. Then, yung iba, nagkakaroon ng 2 layers ng paper. But although 5 or even 7 nested boxes have been seen, nested groups of 3 are the most common configuration for cheseng. Yung layer yung pinag-uusapan dito, class, ha? So, yung iba, 3 layers, yung iba, 7 layers. But the most common configuration ng cheseng is 3. Then, the time it takes to produce a set ng chesang or ng bamboo crafts can be as lengthy as 2 weeks. So, ito yung weaving using bamboo strips. And sinasabi na historically, yung chesang were used by women of the Korean aristocracy to store clothing or jewels or yung mga alahas. They were constructed by married couples and were often used to store the items needed for a daughter's dowry. And pag nanonood ako ng K-drama, I also notice na ginagamit ito, especially dun sa mga traditional drama or historical K-drama na pag ginagamit itong mga boxes, yung ganito, tulad yung ganito yung number 2 natin. Pag lalagyan ng mga clothes, di ba, hindi sila gumagamit ng bags before. Ito yung lalagyan nila ng mga clothes, lalo na pag magta-travel sila. So, yun lang. Napansin ko lang. Share ko lang. Now, let's proceed naman with the inlaid items. So, inlaid items, according to your book, it is a household furniture and everyday objects are inlaid with mother of pearl or ginagamitan rin ng mga ox horn. So, pag sinabi nating mother of pearl or tinatawag rin na nacre, it is a naturally occurring material that is found in seashells. In Korea, the mother of pearl that is used to create the beautiful inlaid lacquered pieces comes from abalone shells. So these pieces are called najeon chilge in Korean, with najeon meaning mother of pearl and chilge meaning lacquerware. So ito yung lalagyan nila ng mga anik-anik, ng mga plates, ng mga jewelries, ng mga uh, cups, mga tea sets, yon and everything. So, ganito yung itsura nung inlaid items using mother of pearl. Ganyan. And then, yung isa naman is yung ox horn. Ganito naman yung ox horn. So since as long ago or long ago as the Goryeo period, itong Najan Chilgi or yung tinatawag nga natin mga lacquerware has been a clear symbol of social and financial status. Kung makikita niyo naman sa itsura ng mga inlaid items na ito is ah during ancient period siguro mahirap makakuha ng mga ganitong bagay. So makikita mo lang siguro ito sa mga novelty or sa mga mayayamang tao. And during the Goryeo era, most of the people who own mother of pearl na lacquerware ay yung mga aristocrats. And the pieces were often gifted to foreign delegates and sinesend nila sa mga kingdoms overseas. But despite nung cost, kasi syempre mahal ito. Despite the cost of the Nojang Chilge, ina-admire pa rin sila ng mga common people as well as the upper classes during the Joseon era for their depiction of simple everyday life and nature. But in the 1960s and 70s, mother of pearl lacquerware became symbolic of wealth owing to the incredibly expensive price tag attached to it. So, dinidefine or parang 'pag meron ka ng, lacquerware, especially mother of pearl lacquerware, parang, you are part of the Maharlika or ng aristocrats. Now, nandito na tayo sa folk painting. So, folk painting in Korea is called minwa. Yan. It calls minwa and it portrays the people's way of expressing and revealing their thoughts and ideas from bird and flower paintings to the tiger and the dragon and the 10 longevity symbols. So in a folk painting of a magpie and the tiger is depicted as friendly and funny. I will show you. Yan yung mga folk painting. So this one, ito yung folk painting of a magpie and the tiger. So dito, yung tiger is depicted as friendly and funny. While the magpie, this is tiger and the magpie, it seems to be mocking the tiger. So here, the tiger is also the most frequently depicted subject in Korean folk painting called minwa. Again, ang folk painting sa Korean, it is called minwa. But in minwa, the fearsome and sacred tiger is depicted as an observed creature painted in unhindered and humorous strokes to the point of being shocking. And this is certainly not because Minwa were poorly done, huh? The uninhibited revolutionary manner in which Minwa depicted the tigers made very clear when we compare it with the more traditional approach employed by Kim Hong-do, one of the Joseon dynasty greatest artists. And in his tiger under the pine tree, it is in this freedom of expression and amazingly unconventional method of painting where we see how Minwa so effectively portrayed the hopes and desires of the common people. And the Minwa humorous depiction helped the peoples overcome their fear of the tiger. Kasi natatakot sila sa tiger before. But by giving this sacred being a friendlier demeanor and appearance. So medyo nawala yung takot nila sa tiger. So that's it for the arts and crafts of Korea. Now we will proceed to the Korean architecture. So the Korean architecture, may tinatawag tayong hanok. So hanok, this is a traditional Korean house. Hanok were first designed and built in the 14th century during the Joseon dynasty, and like the other arts of Korea, architecture is characterized by naturalistic tendencies, simplicity, economy of shape, and the avoidance of extremes. And what was sharply curving Chinese roof was modified. This one, sinasabi na this was from China. But the Korean modified it into a gently sloping roof. Sharp angles, strong lines, steep planes, and garish colors are all avoided kung mapapansin nyo sa hanok or sa traditional Korean house. And it typically exhibit a quiet inner harmony. So, one of the architectural design of Korea is seen on the Royal Ancestral Shrine na matatagpuan sa Jongmyo, or itong Royal Ancestral Shrine na to is tinatawag na Jongmyo or Chongmyo. So this is a shrine housing the spirit tablets of the former kings and queens of the Joseon dynasty. And the shrine is a symbolic structure that conveys the legitimacy of the royal family, where the king visited regularly to participate in the ancestral rites to wish for the safety and security of the people and state. So dito, yung Jongmyo, this one is the oldest and most authentic of the Confucian royal ancestral shrines with a unique spatial layout. Kung makikita ninyo. So, this one, lipat natin. Yan. Kung makikita nyo, it has a unique spatial layout that has been preserved in its entirety. And it was originally built in the late 14th century but was destroyed during the Japanese invasion during the 16th century and was rebuilt in the early 17th century with a few expansion made to the buildings thereafter. So, yan yung architecture ng Korea. And lastly, we will tackle the Korean sculpture. As to your book, ancient Korean sculpture were generally made out of wood, stone, and later ceramic. And the smaller ones were made of jade, golds, and other metals. At kung makikita niyo sa ating example, the Buddhist sculptures. Dahil before, puro Buddhist themes pagdating sa pagka-carve. Kaya yung Korean art, yung mga Korean art or yung mga Korean sculpture, ay they produce great Buddhist sculptures. So, hanggang ngayon, importante pa rin sa Korean art itong mga Buddhist sculptures na ito because this signifies their cultures and tradition. Di ba nabanggit natin kanina na one of the main religion na na-introduce or naging main religion ng Korea is Buddhist. So, in modern times, or example of Korean modern sculpture ay yung pinakasikat na greeting mon and maraming mga turista na dumadayo dito. So this is a Korean modern sculpture na kung saan its main artist is si Yu Yong Ho, and yung concept nito, it provides a man 6 meters high bowing in a typically Asian greeting gestures, and yung blue color, sinasabi na it means lack of prejudice. So that's it for our Korean art or the arts of Korea. Kamsahamnida, 여러분. Life is a work of art. Paint yours colorful. And we will paint that later as we're going to start making your part 1 PA2-1, which is the manga analysis. So that is the art appreciation compilation. And like what I've said, part 1, that is the manga analysis or the anime. So here you will choose an anime that you want. Or if you don't want anime, you can choose a manga. Then you will give the following details. So the first one is picture of the anime or a manga. Like for example, you choose an anime and the anime you choose is Doraemon. So you will draw or you will print the picture of Doraemon. So after the picture of Doraemon, you will write or type the title of the anime or the manga series or the manga that you've chose. So like for example, picture of Doraemon and the title Doraemon. Name of your favorite character in the anime. So you will use another bond paper for that. So uh, like for example, my favorite character on the Doraemon is Nobita. So, what is the role of Nobita in the anime Doraemon? So, Nobita is the child doon na one of the main characters. So, doon papaliwanag mo ano yung role ni Nobita, ano yung role nung uh, favorite character mo from the anime or from the manga, and you will uh, describe his or her role. And then after that, you will answer what is the Japanese values of your favorite character na he or she often exhibit on the anime or on the manga. And lastly, what have you learned or what you have learned from the anime or the manga that you've chose? And then for the criteria, as you can see on the other side, the picture and the title of the anime or the manga that you've chose, that is 5 points. Your favorite character and role, if you describe it clearly, you will get a 5 points. And the third bullet, we have the Japanese values of the character, that is 7 points. And lastly, the reflection part or the what have you learned, that is 8 points, a total of 25 points. So that is your PA 2-1 part 1 and note for quiz 2-1, di ba? Unti-unti natin binibigyan ng color ang inyong mga live. So, note for quiz 2-1, you can write this one in your homework notebook and later on I will check it and I will sign it. So, today is October 10, 2022. Art 8 Quiz 2-1 on Monday. That is next week, October 17. So you will review the arts of Japan and Korea on pages 103 to 106. That is the arts of Japan. And for the arts of Korea, that is 108 to 112. Don't worry because later on we will do highlighting part. Highlighted parts only for our quiz 2-1. So that's it for today, everyone. Kamsamida, Yorobun. Have a nice day.